Hello, I'm Kristen Lee. So, the video that I was going to try and do for you today, I'm sorry that I'm late. Usually I have my videos locked and loaded. Um, my hair's on my face. That's usually why I do. Because I don't like the little baby hairs. Anyway, I usually have my videos like locked and loaded and processing at least by Saturday for my Sunday videos. And for whatever reason, this account loads a lot faster than my BookTube account. So I don't know, but here's the thing. So I've been doing, oh my gosh, I think I showed you a little bit. My friend B on Mama Needs to Read Romance, she did like a passport to go to the Mediterranean for the month of July as like a staycation thing. And she, made this passport and, week 1, we went to Greece, week 2, we went to Italy, week 3, we went to France, and week 4, we went to Spain. And we did like little activities and, if you did a craft, if you read a book from that place, food, music, if you get to enjoy the culture, but from the comfort of your own home. And then we had this Discord chat where we could share what we were doing and whatever. And then as we finished parts of the passport, we had stamps to stick onto that country. And because I was doing my readathon with the Thrills and Chills book club on BookTube, I kind of used B's idea for this channel with all the culture and stuff that I got into, and I kept my bookish stuff, with the readathon for the month. So, long story longer, this past week was Spain, and I did a lot of meals. I did a lot of food type stuff for Spain, and I'll show you in the video that it's almost done. I have 2 more things to kind of like show off. And like I went to the kitties and I made like a little bowl for Spain, and I let the kitties play with the bowl that I made. But so here's the thing. I've been in my feels all week. Like, I had really happy days where you got to see me find Michael's, and I had really good days. And I think those really good days helped me through my week. I don't talk about it a lot, and please be kind in the comments. If you're cruel or you're, whatever, I will delete your comment and I will block you. So, you're entitled to your opinion, but please be kind in the comments. I have anxiety and depression that I have been fighting since I was a kid. I didn't get diagnosed until I came to California, and then I decided to try medicine to see how. I'm on a baby dose of medicine, but the mood stabilizer does help. And I just felt like I was getting used to it and everything, and then I started having feminine issues again, because I truly believe that I have PCOS and endometriosis. I really truly believe that I have it. If you go through all of the check boxes around my time of the month, it's like Buddy the Elf in the movie Elf, where he's in the elevator and he just pushes all the buttons and he goes, "Ooh, pretty." So anyway, when I got my IUD, I got the hormonal one because it was supposed to help with everything. I had a cyst that was growing, and they said that it would help, with the cyst, and it would help regulate my hormones. It does until it doesn't. And then all of a sudden, I can feel my body not like whatever is being released into it. And my body, because it's been in protection mode since I've been born, because I'm a cardiac patient, and I listen to my body probably more than the average person, because I have to go, is this anxiety or is this cardiology? And I should go to the hospital, things like that. So I can feel when my body fluctuates, and I know that blood sugar and all of that plays into account, with how your mood swings are. And I think I'm going through perimenopause. The women on my mother's side started at 30, 35 with perimenopause, and they were in perimenopause almost all the way until they were like 50. My mom said that she started changing to actual menopause probably about 48, and hit 50 total menopause, and then it took her a while to get through it. And even now she's in her 60s and she's still like, well, what is going on? And she's a diabetic, and that she has factors that goes into what she goes through with her body. And then my aunt on my mother's side, she started menopause at 35, and she's been going through it. And the only reason why I didn't choose I wanted to get a hysterectomy, because I thought, okay, if I get rid of the situation, I won't have the cysts anymore, I won't have this, I won't have that. But my doctor was afraid that if I don't have the hormone functions with it there, how am I going to adjust with it not? So that's why we did the IUD. Long story longer and longer and longer, this week was the week that my grandfather passed. My family and I packed up to be there for my grandmother, to help my grandmother figure out what to do, to celebrate him, what to do with the house, what to do with his stuff, the whole thing that goes with it. And when I've gone on social media, a lot of, it's the end of the school year, it's the end of the year. And, I have littles that are graduating and having huge lifestone things, and I have friends and I have family that are going through these big things, and I'm not there. So it hit. And on my sad days, and that's what I call them, my sad days, I felt raw. Like, I felt like Sadness from Inside Out, where she like lays on the ground and she just puts her hand out to be dragged around. I felt like that, and it was the dumbest things. Like, I made flan this week. It came out delicious, but the process of doing it, and I was struggling with making caramel, it's supposed to be one of the easiest things. You're trying to burn sugar. That's it. I couldn't do it. I tried to do the water method, and it would boil, and I'm like, okay, it's starting to turn color. All right, we're doing it. And then it would become rock candy. I'm like, no. What happened? And then I found a way to do it, and then it was one of those weeks, and I'm like, I don't know. And then yesterday we had a party to go to, and little bro does not like to leave his creature comforts. He really doesn't. And I have to be that, okay, it's time, because it that's another thing that you go through as a caregiver or a parent, or you look and say, oh my god, so and so went to the beach today, or so and so is going to Disney, or so and so, and here we are, we're happy, and I've got my book and I'm listening to an audio book and I'm baking and I'm happy, but I'm not doing anything, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I dragged him there, and he didn't want to be there, and it just, it's so, I don't know, it's not weird, but you tend to reflect when you have your little person that you're caring for, and you see parts of yourself in them. And I didn't have friends until I was a teenager. When I was young, I had my cardiac issue, so I couldn't really go outside and play, because if I ran too much or I exerted too much, I turned blue and almost passed out. And then after my surgery, when I was 4 or 5, I couldn't play because I was healing. And then the doctor said I was underweight, so I put on all this weight, and then I was the chubby kid that nobody really wanted to play with. And then added to the fact that my family was odd. I had a brother that was in a wheelchair, and it was the late 90s into the early, it was the late 80s into the early 90s. So I remember being a kid and somebody thinking that if their child touched my brother, that they would get his cerebral palsy. And I'm like, that's not how it works. So I didn't find my core friend group until I was in my teens. And even then, I was that odd duck. One of my best friends, I gave her a note asking her to be my best friend. And she said, will you be my friend? And she said, yeah. And then my other best friend, she was talking about something with another kid, and I just inserted myself because I knew what she was talking about, and I was like, oh my god, somebody actually knows what I'm talking about. And so I went and just inserted myself into her conversation, and she's been stuck with me since. So, and that oddness has never gone away. Like, another one of my best friends, I confronted her about something, and we just started talking about 80s cartoons, and she's stuck with me. So it's just, and I know that he'll find his people, and I know that he'll, get his own, but it's just, it was kind of sad, because he's at that age where I have to step back. I can't go and be like, hey, so and so, would you like to play, or here's this thing, would you like to play together, and try and mold the situation so that it's a safe place for both kids, but the interaction's still there. And he's at that age where he would be ostracized more if I am. So, I had to step back, and it was just bananas. The kid to adult ratio was bananas. And then it's a pool party, so like all these kids brought pool stuff. So there's huge floats and this, that, and the other thing. And my little brother is the one that's trying to swim under the floats while kids are jumping on top of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was stressful. It was very stressful. So yeah. So that's kind of where I was the last couple days. Like, I've needed hugs. And, like, I'm a hugger. Like, I will hug you if you want a hug. But I don't usually go to other people. I find other ways to self-soothe. And this week I was just like, somebody hug me. Somebody make me feel better. Like, even the cats. at the shelter. I'm like, love me, please. So, so if you've been feeling that way or whatever, you're not alone. That's what this whole video is about. Is, you know, I'm this middle-aged lady, you know, that collects frickin' squishmallows and pink ghost face and stuff. And I have rough days, so that's what I wanted to hop on, and this way I got my video out. And yeah, if you had a rough week, virtual hugs and love, and be kind to yourself and do something for you, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. And yeah, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you are getting ready to have a great week, and I will see you this week with the video I was supposed to put up today, as well as my other next staycation video, which I'm really excited. Like, B did a great job, so I can't wait to share some of the stuff that I got to enjoy with my friends on her channel. So yeah, all right, I'm really leaving. Bye.